Causeway Street Podcast. I'm your host, Josue Pavon. Josue Pavon. Mr. Sean Dutra.
Hey, this is Leon Poe, man. You listening to Causeway Street Podcast.
What's up, y'all? This is Kenny Anderson.
Hi, this is Tyler Zeller from the Boston Celtics.
Y'all listen to the Causeway Street Podcast.
For all you new listeners out there, I'm your host, Josue Pavon. I'm joined as usual by my two co-hosts.
I'm Sean Dutra. What's up? So
Yeah,
like
talk
long
about
walks
yourself.
on the beach.
There you go. Josue Pavon. What up?
I'm a Pisces.
The most romantic.
It leads off with that.
The most romantic sign in all of Zodiac.
Oh,
You couldn't tell by my voice already.
oh,
Sexy. I'm the producer of this ensemble that we call Causeway Street. In case you missed it.
Hey, Bill Walton here, Celtics 1986. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Yeah, come here for nothing but the truth. This is where dreams come true. Thank you, Boston, for my life.
where are we going?
You guys are such homers.
It's your boy Tay Rozier. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Now listen to my boys Josue, Joel, and Sean.
Now, let me say this. Isaiah Thomas is a hell of a player, an unbelievable competitor. He's a warrior, everything he's going through right now. He had a hell of a game tonight. But when you're allowed to discontinue your dribble on every possession, he is impossible to guard. He's impossible to guard when you're able to put your hand underneath the ball and take 2 or 3 steps and put it back down. It's impossible to guard him in those situations.
Josue Pavon, Causeway Street blog. Fred, did you see Isaiah carry the ball at all in this game?
No.
Welcome into another edition of the Causeway Street Podcast. With, of course, your favorite Boston Celtics bloggers, Josue Pavon, Sean Dutra. I am Josue Pavon, and wow, what a week, fellas! What a week for the Boston Celtics. Brad Stevens, I mean, the whole crew. I mean,
Welcome to round 2, baby.
man, how do I even begin this podcast? I don't even know where.
ECSF.
There's just so much going on in my mind right now. I'm trying to compose myself to get ready for this edition of the Causeway Street Podcast. I mean, for starters, to see the Celtics come back from 2-0, win 4 in a row, and do it in a manner where they just completely demolish the Chicago Bulls. I mean, talk about two coaches going at it, and Brad Stevens just completely out-coaching Fred Hoiberg from the second he lost those 2 games.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can say what you want about Rajon Rondo. Of course, not having Rondo in this series certainly plays a part, but you can't take away what Brad Stevens was able to do with this team, from putting Gerald Green in the starting lineup, from getting the most out of guys like, you know, Terry Rozier, of course, Gerald Green, Kelly Olynyk all of a sudden. I mean, that Game 5, easily the best Celtics performance I saw throughout this series. I mean, you could say what you want about Game 6. It was a blowout.
Game 6 was dominant.
Yeah, it was dominant, but Game
start to
5
finish.
just sort of, I mean, the Celtics just snatched the momentum. Like, they already had the momentum going into Game 5, but in my opinion, at the end of Game 5, I mean, the Chicago Bulls were just completely deflated. And all it took was the first half for the Celtics to sort of grab control of that game. And then in came the third quarter of Game 6, that humongous run in the third to completely take the life out of Chicago. And that was it. That was all she wrote.
I think, yeah, you make some great points there. The number one thing that happened in this series is exactly what I was waiting for to happen, is just a little bit of dysfunction on that Chicago team with no leader. Because Dwayne Wade doesn't want to lead. Jimmy Butler's, he's not there yet in his career. And their coach, Fred Hoiberg, doesn't know what to do with any type of
Adversity?
adversity.
That's because
at
Sway
all.
fucked him up. That's why.
I know. I
Sway
know.
fucked him up.
But I was waiting for this. I knew that there was going to be something that, like, the Bulls look like a legitimate Eastern Conference Finals contender in those first 2 games. Rondo goes down, you can't do anything. There's literally, they had nothing. Like, even if you want to say like Rondo was a big deal.
Yeah, no, when Hoiberg
But
decided
they had
to let Rondo
nothing
run
to
the
go
team.
to. Yes.
So when he decided to
Exactly.
let Rondo run the team, not only just on the floor, but while he was on the bench, Chicago looked like the team that beat Cleveland, the team that beat the Warriors,
Right.
the team that beat San Antonio during the regular season.
And when he goes down, the whole
weird.
The whole like momentum just switches up completely.
We're in 2017 and Rondo still controls a team. Like
still controls the series at that point.
Yeah, which is crazy. But like I think that really shows you two things. Is that
us as Celtics fans though, we shouldn't be surprised. Though.
First off, I think this is the most interesting thing from this series is Brad Stevens decides out of legitimately nowhere to just say Gerald Green is what this team needs. Gerald Green is what this team needs in the starting lineup right now. When that happened, I said, this is dumb. This is stupid. Why the hell would you play the guy who, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not a Gerald Green hater. Like,
you were at the beginning of the season.
You were. I was just going to say.
No,
you did not like that signing.
The moment he got signed, you were like, why the fuck is Celtics wasting their money on Gerald Green out of all people?
But then when I saw him play this year.
You know what the problem was? Paul Pierce wasn't available. That's why.
Well, I just feel like if you're going to draft.
Fuck you, dog.
You want me to go back to Jaylen Brown?
See, that's what pissed Sean off the most because I said he's Jaylen Brown insurance. If Jaylen Brown's not ready to go, then you'll see Joe Green. But that's exactly what we saw, right?
Well,
that's exactly what we saw.
When Jaylen wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing.
And came Gerald.
Gerald Green got his card called, and he
So
performed.
I never disagreed with Gerald Green being Jaylen Brown insurance, but the fact you need to take insurance out on your third overall pick in the draft and he can't play in the playoffs, that's
just a series, though. That's just a series. That's just a series.
Yep. You know what? I'm not going to hate on Jaylen Brown today. I'm not going to hate on Jaylen Brown.
At this point, you have to trust in Brad Stevens, right?
100%. So that's where I was going with this.
Yeah.
Is that when he put Gerald Green in the lineup, I said, "This is ridiculous." And then seriously.
No. I'm picturing that in my head when you heard that.
Funny thing was, I told you guys this in the last episode. Some dude comes up to me at work, and he's a sports fan, but he's not like a basketball guy. And he goes, "Hey,
but he thinks he is, right?"
After 2-0, after the Celtics were down 0-2, he goes, "Why isn't Gerald Green getting any run?" And I go,
shit.
I go, "Get out of here, dude! Like Gerald, why would that matter? Like, why does that matter at all?"
I bet you after game 4, you were he must have been like, so.
You see Joe Green last night?
Yeah, but anyways, all I'm saying is that you look at, which I think Celtics fans appreciate Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
Boston sports fans,
blue collar guy,
don't appreciate Brad Stevens as much as they should. And you know what? I think that this was the first time in the playoffs, because in the regular season, you're able to see what Brad Stevens can do on a night in, night out basis. But this is the second consecutive year, if you really think about it, that he was able to make a tweak to his lineup and get maximum results.
Results, yeah.
Last year, Jerebko inserted in the starting lineup. You won the 2 games at
home.
Who
I thought was going to be in the lineup.
This year,
instead of Gerald Green.
No one predicted Gerald Green.
No. I don't care. I don't care if you're the ultimate basketball analyst or Celtics analyst. No one said, you know what? I think Gerald Green should be in the starting lineup.
So I think the tables turned for 2 reasons. Rondo went down. Gerald Green being inserted into starting lineup and getting run and take his bad shots. Yeah. But all I gotta say is
he had more good shots than bad though.
Okay.
All right. Because he made them.
Yeah, because he made them.
Not because when he took them, but because he made them.
I don't know. So huge momentum builder by Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
And now Brad Stevens has won a playoff series.
First one, baby.
There we go. This is the Brad
First
Stevens.
one, baby.
I mean, I don't think we didn't really talk about the 50-win plateau like too much.
Because I think we all expected that last year.
Right. But this year, I think we need to give credit where credit is due, because a lot of us, when we were looking at this series, when we're down 2-0, you said this isn't going to happen again, man. We're going to lose in the first round again.
But they took advantage, going back to the regular season, they took advantage of Cleveland just saying, yeah, we don't give a shit where we finish. But at the same time, let's finish the 1 seed and let's make some noise. It's not like just finish the 1 seed and then just bow out.
They're still the 1 seed.
Despite of what Isaiah's going through, and essentially the team was going through the first 2 games.
This first round legitimately felt like a full season with everything that happened.
It's May, pretty much. I felt like the series started at the beginning of April.
March.
Yeah, I know, right?
But do you guys really think that Rajon Rondo would have been the difference for the Chicago Bulls to win the series? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that if Rondo was in this series, the entire series, that the Chicago Bulls definitely win. But I mean, they would have had a chance. But at the same time, I just feel like that switch was going to be turned on regardless when they went back to Chicago down 0-2.
I'm not going to lie. I was 100% sure that he was going to play Game 6 no matter what.
I was too.
I couldn't believe how
his hand was feeling.
He didn't.
Yeah,
because you saw the cast go down to just a thumb thing, and then the thumb thing go down to like.
Must have been that bad because he did. I wrote a piece about it. He had torn ligaments in his wrists that he was dealing with for a while, and he was like, "I'm going to play through the pain." And then when the thumb injury happened, it made things worse for him. So
I don't think
he's right-handed.
I don't think it was just Rondo though.
No, yeah, of course. I mean,
well, that's the thing though. Like
Dwayne Wade played 19 minutes.
Like what bothers me the most about that argument is like, well, a month ago or 2 months ago, Rajon Rondo wasn't that guy that can decide a series, right? Rondo will never be his old self. Rondo will never win a series for this team. And then all of a sudden he falls down, and out comes the naysayers saying like, "Oh, well, the Celtics got lucky.
We're talking
the
to you.
Celtics didn't have to face Rondo."
We're talking to you, Bulls fans,
bloggers. I mean, I just feel like a lot of this has to fall on their head coach. I mean, Fred Hoiberg didn't have that locker room at all. They don't believe in him. He never once had
all
it.
Season.
And the best chance that they had was giving the team to Rajon Rondo. That put them in a position to win those 2 games. And even at the end of those 2 games, I never once seen Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, any other player from the Chicago Bulls give him any credit. All they said was Rajon Rondo was showing us film. Rajon Rondo was going through the Celtics' plays. Rajon Rondo is our leader. No one gave Hoiberg any credit, and that is a problem. That is one of the biggest problems, if not the biggest problem, in Chicago. It's your head coach. You don't have the right coach for that team.
The only person that gave Fred Hoiberg any credit was Rajon Rondo. He was the only guy to come out and say, Fred put us in a good position.
Yeah.
He's the because you know what?
Yeah. Okay, he did. Yeah.
But I'm saying everybody else didn't believe that.
Everyone's like, "Stop lying, Rajon."
Right.
I mean, look at his body language.
It's been you, bro.
Look at his body language in Game 5. It wasn't Hoiberg that was up there, rallying his guys. It wasn't Hoiberg that was in their faces telling them to, trying to pump them up. That was Rajon Rondo doing that. He was the one that was getting guys to buy in. So he was the one that was on his feet, looking like a coach. It looked like he was the head coach and Hoiberg was an assistant next to him.
He's the one complaining to the refs.
Right.
Hoiberg would just sit down and just like, I don't know what to do with myself right now.
I feel like Fred. I'm gonna call Freddie.
I called him that on Twitter and got a good response. Yeah, let's go with Freddie, the quote unquote mayor of Iowa.
Maybe the burger.
Yeah.
No, but he legitimately seemed. I don't know. You always look at like maybe your nephew or something, and you realize he can't control his emotions at all. You just like you're at a family party and somebody brings their kid over and he's like, "Well, I just want a chocolate cake. This is ridiculous." And you're just standing there as an adult like, "Yo, bro, it's cake, so just eat it." Just because it's not chocolate doesn't mean the fucking world's ended.
Doesn't mean it's still not cake.
Nor does it mean after you drop 2 in a row in Chicago with a series tie that you can make these wild accusations against Isaiah Thomas.
I feel like Fred Hoiberg is
Hoiberg.
Fred Hoiberg is just a 12-year-old boy.
Guy's a crybaby. And then when people ask about it, look how agitated he got.
Yeah.
Oh, I said all I'm going to say. You can't make an accusation like that without expecting people to ask follow-up questions.
Let's dive deep. We're diving deep. If you didn't know,
first of all, before you say what you're going to say, for me and Sean, it is an honor and a privilege to have this man across the table. You know what I mean? Like everything, Mr. Viral, exactly. For everything and for every comment, good or bad, that's come because of what Sway asked, which was a legitimate question.
Which also may be the reason why Fred Hoiberg is fired.
It's a legitimate question. The best question of the playoffs. I don't give a fuck what the Memphis coach had to say because it wasn't even asked to him.
The Memphis coach was a better answer.
Yeah, but it wasn't even asked.
Was a better question,
but it wasn't even asked.
Right.
He just said like, "I'm gonna use this platform to defend my players," and Hoiberg didn't do that.
He had a chance to defend his players.
He had a chance to. You're right.
He had a chance to say something intelligent.
He elected
and
not
instead,
to.
He acted like a baby.
He had an adult tantrum.
He had a temper tantrum
Yeah.
over the fact that the cake wasn't chocolate, man.
Exactly.
That's exactly what he had.
Exactly.
And yet you have these Bulls fans and these, big Bulls guys are trying to say like,
No.
oh,
Wait,
that
you're
wasn't a
talking-
legitimate
no.
question.
You're talking about
Not big.
analysts?
No, not even. No, before
Talking
I
about-
even get to analysts.
Okay.
You talking
No,
about the dude from Men in Black?
it's-
The alien dude from Men in Black? Is that who you talking about?
It's one thing.
Vinny Goodwill? Is that who you talking about?
It's one thing to hear that from Bulls fans, who of course are upset because of how their head coach looked.
The
Because
fair
their
weather
head-
fans?
Because their head coach got called out for a question for an accusation that he made. I mean, if you are going to accuse Isaiah Thomas for carrying the ball in Game 4, I need to know if he did it again in Game 5. Is that not a legitimate question? Am I in the wrong here? Am I what? Am I a fanboy now?
No.
You are.
Nor do I need to be labeled as a reporter in quotations by Vince Goodwill of CSN Chicago.
By the way, this dude was on the pregame with Abby Chin and Aishwarya Blakely
on Comcast Sportsnet.
And it's so funny too because like when I'm at the game, he's sitting behind me, and it's almost like it's the fidgeting, and then it's just noise, constant noise, especially in Game 2.
Like fanboyish,
like fanboyish. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. I literally turned around like 3 times, and
that's not professional, bro.
I'm turning over to Jay King is to the left of me. I'm looking at Ace Rod. I'm like, I feel like I'm in the crowd right now. Because
shout out to Jake King, yo.
because when I look behind me,
Blakely
I see a reporter who's screaming and hollering because his Chicago Bulls are up by 20 points against the Boston Celtics. I'm like, wait, do we have a fan in the media section here? I mean,
I bet you a few weeks ago he didn't think the Bulls even make the playoffs.
I mean, I didn't think, especially in Boston, you don't hear reporters behaving that way, but that's beyond the point.
No, he seemed like
my point.
We're professional here.
My point here is,
I mean, I'm
we're
not.
humble,
I'm not very
too.
professional.
to put to label me and put
Sway is
reporters in
professional.
quotations as if I asked some silly fanboy type question. Come on.
No, but
Come
Sway,
on, Vince.
Sway.
Come again, Vince. Come harder.
Sway, you were trying to make a name for yourself, right?
Come on. Doing my job. And I was shocked that 5 questions fired off to Hoiberg and not one person brought it up. Come on, Hoiberg. Come on. You're gonna accuse Isaiah Thomas of something like that in Game 4, and Isaiah Thomas doesn't get called for it once in Game 5. You don't expect that question? Why do you think he walked away from the podium? He walked away because he knew there was follow-up questions and he didn't want to face the music. That's why he walked away.
That and because he got lucky that he didn't get fined after Game 4. But you have to believe that, at least for the Celtics media, there was someone in there who was like, shit, why didn't I ask that question?
No, this is one of those questions where this is the thing. This is the problem with media today, is that everyone's so worried about am I gonna have a good relationship with this person after I ask this question? Maybe I shouldn't ask this question. It's okay. My job is to ask questions. Your job is to answer.
Exactly.
I'm gonna ask the hard questions. You answer hard, and then it's a respect that's built over time. Sway, you asked a great question. Hoiberg couldn't stand heat, which means he's probably not ready for this position. You know what I mean?
And let me ask you guys this. If Hoiberg doesn't walk off, do you think I'm being, ridiculed for asking a stupid question? No. People are saying that because of the reaction. I mean, I didn't,
of course.
Right? Because he walked off. I didn't know he was going to walk off. What did I insult his mother? I didn't say anything personal. Did I get personal with Hoiberg? Did I try to put him in a situation where, I was offending his family? No.
To the Bulls fans and the Bulls media, it was, for the most part, quote unquote, a stupid question, an immature question because of his reaction. But like you said, if Hoiberg actually sits there and goes, you know what? No, I'm going to further clarify my point.
Face the music. Or
Exactly.
at least, okay. He says he did answer the question. I give him credit for that.
I know, but he didn't further elaborate.
Right. The reason he walked off again is because he knew there's going to be follow-up questions to his statement. However, if Isaiah Thomas didn't carry in Game 5, obviously the follow-up would have been, and if no one asked it, I would have asked it myself. I would have said, what's the difference between Game 4 and Game 5? How is he dribbling differently? Why did you...
Or the last 7 years of his career.
What's the difference between those 2 games? And I just find it funny that you bring this up after the Chicago Bulls dropped 2. You didn't bring this up after Game 1 and Game 2 because last time I checked, Isaiah Thomas was dribbling the ball the exact same way throughout the entire series.
He scored 33 points in Game 1.
And I don't think anyone's...
He drove to the basket plenty.
So Hoiberg, it's not a problem when your team is winning, But when they're losing, then he's carrying the ball. I got you.
No,
okay. Fred.
He's impossible to guard.
Additionally, and most importantly, Fred Hoiberg coaches the player in the NBA who does this the most. Dwayne Wade has conquered the carrying championship every single year he's been in the league. That's his thing. Is he does that quick post, right from the 3-point. He's not going to shoot the 3. He does that right at the 3-point line every single time he drives in. Every single time.
And never gets called for it. Has anybody ever complained about Dwayne Wade carrying? Honestly.
Maybe in his earlier years, but from the last, 7, 8, 9 years, no.
My guess is that nobody complains about carrying in a post-game press conference because it's so prevalent through the league that people on your team are carrying. So if I know that if I'm coaching LeBron James, right, and I see a guy on the other team, like let's say I'm coaching LeBron James, it's Cavs versus Rockets. And I see James Harden taking 4 steps before he gets to the hole.
That's different.
You can't say shit. You can't say shit as the coach of LeBron James because LeBron James takes 5 steps to get to the hole. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying.
And it's almost like he does it on purpose, and then he gets it's a shocking thing when he gets called for it.
Yeah, I'm not even saying that, but I'm just saying you can't have someone on your team that does this every time they have the ball, and you're gonna call out the opposing team for doing the same thing your team does all the time, but no one says anything because everyone has someone on the team who does it.
He's just baffled. Hoiberg was just baffled for the fact
Hoiberg just sucks, man.
No, I know, but he was just baffled at the fact that no matter how many times they double teamed him, even triple teamed him at times, that Isaiah was able to cut through.
It's impossible to stop him.
The big trees.
Right, that's what he said. It's impossible.
It's impossible to stop him. But there has to be a reason why it's impossible to stop him.
How about you just stop there? Right. How about you just stop there, Fred, and say it's impossible to stop him?
That's it. We're not homers here. We're looking at we're watching games. No, for real.
No,
we're watching these
serious.
games.
Yeah, I'm not.
We're dead ass here. We're watching these games but we're watching these games and seriously, 7 years of Isaiah being in the league. Who has ever said
he's been in the league for 7 years?
Yes. 7 years. That's never been brought up to anybody's attention. Or because he's killing you and you have no answer for him because Rondo's out.
Oh, he had an answer. It was Isaiah Cannon. That's a great answer.
You mean the guy that was in street clothes for the first 3 games?
That's like going that's like going on a multiple choice question A through D and you just write in E. Like that's what he did.
All the above?
Everything.
That's insane. I mean, it's one thing to hear from these fans, but to hear from someone like that, Vincent Goodwin. I mean, someone well respected.
Yo, hold on, Vincent.
It's incredible.
Real talk.
His name.
Vincent, you want to come on our show? You want to defend your comments?
Please do,
because it's easy to have Twitter fingers and say whatever you want to say on Twitter and think that no one's gonna respond. Be our guest. Seriously, I'm being. This is an invite.
This is probably a waste of time.
No. I'm just saying this is a legit invite from Causeway Street Blog, from Causeway Street Podcast. Like we're well known here in Boston. All right, we're well known here. We're not trying to get our names out there because who are you, Vincent? I didn't know who you were until you started talking.
Until you started
chirping.
So you started fidgeting next to Abby Chin.
To quote, Tommy Heitzen. Until you started chirping, I didn't know who you were. All right, so. It's a legit invitation to Mr. Vincent out in Chicago who has to watch the Cubs now or the White Sox. I don't know who the hell you're a fan of out there.
I don't think we really want to talk to him. I mean, the Bulls are
I do.
Why do we care?
I do. Why not? I'd love to have him.
I do. I want to talk to him.
It's gonna be a separate
the
episode.
Bulls are on vacation. I don't know if you got time to spare, but I would love 10 minutes of your time, Vincent Goodwill, to have you on here. I mean,
defend your comments. Defend the comments.
Yeah,
because
Fred Hoiberg opens this can of worms, and all of a sudden, what am I a fanboy now? At the same time,
all of a sudden, Sway. All of a sudden,
I might be the new kid on the block, but that's a legit question. I'm a reporter. I'm doing my job. Come on,
you had a smirk.
Come on, Vince. Come again. You were me once upon a time, Vince.
Sway, you had a smirk on your face, Sway, that no one saw on TV.
That's funny. I didn't see a smirk on my face. I don't think anyone saw a smirk on my face. Maybe afterwards when Hoiberg walked away, yeah, there's a little smirk because I was sort of thinking to myself, wow, he really just walked away right now. Did I expect it to go viral? Not necessarily. I thought I'd see it in some places here and there, but at the same time, look, the question was legitimate. I'm doing my job. That's all I'm doing.
Vince of Comcast Sports out in Chicago, come on the show and defend you being a fanboy in the Garden, where plenty of fans and media members saw you going crazy every time the Bulls took a lead.
I really,
Come on. I thought that was
Don't
so
deny
funny
it.
too. I mean,
Don't deny
like,
it, Vince.
He didn't say it flat out, but to me, it's like he's trying to put me in a place with like fanboy / fake reporters. I mean, you put reporter in question marks, that's what I'm, or excuse me, in quotations.
Quotation marks, yep.
In quotations, that's what I'm taking from that. So no, don't get it twisted, Vince. That's not who I am. I'm an up and coming reporter. I'm doing my job. And
CausewayStreetBlog.com, WWEI.com.
I mean, of all, it's just, I just thought it was funny. Of all people, in that media section, I'm just thinking to myself, like, who, like, this guy is just so loud and say, what if that's his thing, that's his thing. I'm just really surprised because you don't see that in Boston. A lot of veteran reporters, you don't hear a lot of noise. This guy's chirping the entire game too, especially. Whatever. All that aside, I just think it's baffling to me that most of these media members from Chicago aren't pulling Fred Hoiberg's card. I mean, do you? I honestly want to know. I mean, maybe I can get a response from someone from the Chicago area. I want to know how many of you guys really want to see Fred Hoiberg as the Chicago Bulls head coach next season. Like, how many of you really believe that Fred Hoiberg can lead this team to another playoff run with the way this team is currently constituted? I mean, even with a healthy Rondo and a Dwayne Wade and a Jimmy Butler, if you let Rondo run the team the way he did in game 1 and 2, that team is good enough to be a 7 or 6 seed. I mean, Fred Hoiberg is the biggest reason why the Chicago Bulls squeezed into the playoffs. And at the same time, he's the same reason that I think the rest of the guys couldn't rally behind their head coach after Rondo went down. I mean, he's the biggest reason. He's your biggest problem.
All right.
Yet I'm the one who's asking a dumb question. Okay.
You're not.
All right.
Let's move on.
And for the record too, I mean, you didn't see my smile. Come on, Vince. You can't just throw that in there as if you were sitting next to me or you were staring at me as I was asking the question, because that's not true. But either way,
you can just put that.
Either way, the Celtics move on.
Trying to put this
man,
out today, by the
talk
way.
about the type of momentum that you want to see from the Celtics team heading into a very, very tough matchup against the Washington Wizards.
Every Celtics fan was waiting for this.
I got to be honest with you guys.
This was going to happen.
I know the season series was split between these two teams, but at the end of the day, I just don't like this matchup for the Boston Celtics. I mean, this is the kind of momentum you want to see for the Celtics heading into this series, playing a team like the Washington Wizards, and we'll spend a few minutes on it before we get into it in case you missed it, because I mean, there's just only so much you can say. I mean, this is the type of series that's going to change so much game after game. This is going to be a chess match between these two coaches, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out. But guys, just real quick, your initial thoughts on this series. My initial thoughts is the front court is going to be very important for the Celtics. I think Al Horford has to step up big time. I mean, I alluded to it earlier. Game 5, to see Avery Bradley, Isaiah Thomas, and Al Horford combined for 69 points, I mean, that's the recipe for success for this team. And whether you like the three-point ball or not, they're going to need those to fall, because that's just part of their formula of success now. That's part of the recipe. So with that being said, how do you feel about this series? Can the Wizards prevent the Celtics from knocking down threes? Can they slow Al Horford? Can Bradley Beal and John Wall completely destroy the backcourt of the Celtics? Because let's face it, I can't think of a team in the East that has a better defending backcourt than the Boston Celtics. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. First of all, fuck the Hawks for not. No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, you really thought the Atlanta Hawks would knock out the Wizards?
No, I wasn't saying about knocking them off. I wanted that one extra day of rest for the Celtics. Like fortunate in Game 7, but the Hawks played well. I'll just leave it at that. They played well. Washington, when it comes to those two guys, Bradley Beal and John Wall, if they're not on, Washington's not winning that game. You know what I mean? So I saw that against the Hawks. And it's hard for the Wizards to put back-to-back good games together. So, and that's coming from when they played the Hawks against a team they defend the perimeter decently, but look at Avery Bradley, what he's been doing. Look at Marcus Smart, what he's been doing. Look at Jay Crowder defensively, right? Just those three guys defensively. We knock Fred Hoiberg
So just that alone, you like your chances right. That's why I think the front court is so important.
Yeah.
Nah, here we go.
So hold on.
All right, fine.
I'll give Fred Hoiberg.
Joe's like, hold on.
I'll give Fred Hoiberg credit where credit is due. He recognized those three guys.
Stop.
He recognized those three guys as
There's no credit for Fred Hoiberg here.
no. Just that though. He gave credit to those three guys as saying that they're three of the league's best perimeter defenders.
Okay, and that's why.
That's it. I'll give him credit for nothing else.
That's why the Celtics have an advantage in this series, and that's why I think the Celtics are going to win in 7. Is that the Wizards'
saying
best?
7, huh?
The Wizard, yep.
I say 6.
Yeah, this goes 7.
I say
This
6.
goes 7 just because there's bad blood all over, man. I think it's going to be 2-2 after 4, and it's going to be best of 3, and it's going to be battle. But I think what you're going to find is the Celtics are geared and are created to defend guards.
Good.
They got Avery Bradley, Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier, and Jay Crowder who can all defend John Wall and Bradley Beal. So I think that if you're looking at a team that's guard heavy that you're going to go up against, the Celtics are built for that. That's what they've been built for.
I don't think there's any team that's guard heavier than the Wizards.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think there is.
There isn't. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, maybe Portland. Maybe
Portland. But that's out west, though. We're talking
Right.
about the East.
Right.
Portland's sitting at home watching the rest of the playoffs.
Hold on, something just came to my mind. If Portland was in the East, are they a 3 seed?
No, because they barely won 40 games.
They would be in the middle of the pack. They would probably
if
be
they were in the East.
I'm saying
they would probably be like 6.
Chicago won 41 games. They'd be battling for that 8th spot.
No, but I'm saying if their schedule will be different, so they, you know what I mean?
No, not the way they played this year. Other years, I wouldn't. I'd say damn, it was messed up that Lillard didn't make the All-Star team. But this year, I think it was right. Fitting him not making the All-Star team.
All right. Well, I seriously think that yes, maybe you know what? The Wizards are such a backcourt heavy team, and they have Gortat obviously on the front line. But I would take any Celtics player
about their bench.
Well, I'm saying on the front court, I would take Al Horford over anybody on their team.
Well, that's one thing the Celtics have in their favor, and that's why I think he's going to be so important in the series for the Celtics. However, have we seen Washington's backcourt perform this well? I mean, they're on fire. I know it's the opening round.
How long is that going to last? How long is that going to last, though?
It could last a while. I don't know, man.
Let's be honest, though.
Bradley Beal.
This is my biggest concern because this isn't.
Bradley Beal is very fragile.
Listen, guys, this isn't
very streaky.
This isn't a backcourt or a team overall that has just sort of peaked in the last year or so. This is a team that's been striving to make the Eastern Conference Finals since 2013.
But wait a minute.
These guys are battle tested. These guys have been through. How are they not battle tested?
Battle tested?
Absolutely.
They didn't make the playoffs last year, right?
Okay, what happened the year when they had Paul Pierce? They were a game away from making the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, but that was John Wall was out. Paul Pierce was the one that got.
Okay, well, John Wall's not out this time around.
Yeah,
John Wall just finished his best regular season he's had of his career.
I know.
Bradley Beal's playing as if this is the best we've ever seen Bradley Beal.
You trying to tell me about how John Wall's the top, one of the best point guys in the
league? I wasn't gonna go there, but you see, I should be preaching to the choir right now.
No, but all I'm saying is though,
that's your boy.
I love John Wall, but all I'm saying is that the Celtics have geared up to guard against this type of team. So if you trust Danny Ainge and you trust Brad Stevens and you trust Bradley, you trust Smart, you trust Crowder, you trust Rozier, those guys are the guys that are going to win you this series. It doesn't matter what happens on the front line because the Celtics have shown they can beat a team when being out rebounded, even though it's ugly and it's awful.
It's going to be very lopsided.
No. If they keep the battle on the glass close, whether they're losing it or not.
But I don't think it might not be close in this one.
Other than Gortat, really.
That's what I'm saying. Other than Gortat,
who do they have on the front line? That was
Gortat's
going
to average probably 12 rebounds. Markieff Morris has proven that he can be a very tough cover down low in terms of rebounding, in terms of defending, and then you forget about what he can do offensively. I mean, this guy can score for you as well. I mean, overall, I just don't like the matchup between these two teams. And for the Celtics, of course. And I think the Washington Wizards, I don't know, man. I just feel like with everything that's happened throughout the regular season, these guys are fueled. These guys are sort of maybe not destined, but they are
on a mission.
They're on a mission. They've been through this stuff before. Whereas the Celtics, a lot of these guys, they haven't even seen the second round. They've never seen the second round
Let me-
besides
let
Al
me-
Horford.
let me
Al
tell you-
Horford and Avery Bradley are the only two people in the Celtics that have been past the first round.
Let me tell you about the matchup that
tell
has
you
to
about
go the
something.
Celtics way.
Okay.
The bench. Right? You got, for the Wizards, you got Radmanovich.
No,
Making
you
sure
didn't
I'm-
say that right.
Did I say it right?
Bogdanovich.
Him. You got Brandon Jennings. And you got, there's one more guy. I can't remember right now. All right, Oubre. We'll go with Oubre.
I'll tell you my biggest thing.
Oubre
in the
Jr.
series. I'll tell you my biggest.
Hold on. But those three guys, right? Versus Olynyk, Smart,
Rozier.
and Rozier. Okay.
What about Jerebko too? He's gonna be in there.
I know, but he's more like I got to go a little bit further down the bench. But
Okay.
those three guys versus the other three guys I just mentioned for the Wizards have to keep the momentum going that they've had in the last 3 games.
Let me tell you what I'm worried about. Porter Jr.
Otto Porter, yes. I knew
Otto Porter Jr. When
but that's
no,
their main he's a starter.
I know, but when he plays and he's on, the Wizards won what? Three
That's Crowder's job.
3 games out of the 4 this year?
No, 2-2.
2-2?
Yeah. That's Crowder's job.
But when Porter is not a good NBA player. I loved him at Georgetown, and I actually want the Celtics to draft him when he came out.
He's good against the Celtics.
He's
we'll
great against
just
the
leave it
Celtics.
at that.
So I'm worried about Porter. That's my number one thing is I'm not worried about Bradley Beal. I'm not worried about John Wall because I know that they're going to be.
Yeah, I'm worried about those other guys, like you just said.
It's Otto Porter because guess what? Crowder, great defender. When he has to defend in length, he doesn't do that great. Like Otto Porter is a lanky dude.
Well, look for Smart, then probably guard him a little bit as well.
Well, yes, Smart guards length well, but also Smart is going to have to go against Beal or Wall.
The composure and the grittiness that I saw Olynyk, and I've never put those words in the same sentence together when it comes to Kelly Olynyk in games 5 and 6. We need to see that throughout the series against the Wizards.
Exactly. But okay, so let's go into this real quick. Predictions.
Oh, you want to do predictions? Well, you said in 7. You said Celtics in 7?
I got Celtics in 7.
So, what do you got?
Have you ever heard me claim a 7-game series before?
No.
Ever.
That's usually, to you, that's usually like someone that's on the fence.
That
How them balls feel?
I just feel like, I feel like I'm very confident the Celtics will win. Every game will be decided between 4 and 6 points. Every single game. No. 1 and 6 points.
I feel like there's one game the Celtics will blow them out.
Nope. I think every single game.
All right. I got the Celtics
within 6 points.
I got the Celtics in 6 because I feel like there's that one game that the Celtics will just legitimately blow them out. Could be even game 6.
I'm with Sean here. No blowouts. I don't think we see any blowouts. If we do see a blowout, it's probably gonna be at the hands of the Wizards. I hate to say it, fellas.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yo, Sway, who do you got? I know you said 7, but who do you got?
Mr. Reliable himself.
I think I'm gonna get this one to the Wizards, guys. I think the Wizards are gonna take this one, man. Look,
what?
You guys don't think they're battle tested? I think that backcourt's been through a lot, and I think that at the end of the day, I mean, look, you could flip a coin, and whichever team faces, is showing, is gonna probably win the series. That's how close it's gonna be. But if I had to pick which team is gonna be the winner after you flip that coin, I'm picking the Wizards. Look, the Wizards,
even in Game 7 at the Garden.
Even in Game 7 at the Garden.
Wow.
I mean, what they've proven themselves, haven't they? You don't think this Wizards team is that talented to beat the Celtics on their own floor?
I think that prediction is the reason why Vince is gonna accept our invitation.
Well, he's gonna realize that I'm not a homer.
Yeah,
I'm not a homer. I'm a reporter, man.
Yeah, man.
Look, listen, I could be wrong. It's gonna be that close, but if I had to pick one, if I was a betting man, I'm going with the Wizards in 7. That's my prediction. But look, let it be known though, again, to repeat myself, it's going to be a very entertaining series, and I cannot wait to see the Garden rocking on Sunday. I can't wait to see the Garden rocking on Tuesday. I do think that they will split those 2 games, whether the Celtics win Game 1 or Game 2. I don't see them winning both. Either way, if you haven't been to the Garden in the playoffs, you are missing out. I'm telling you, because the way the atmosphere, the excitement, it's unreal. I mean, if you've been to a regular season game, you have not seen the Garden when it's the playoffs. It's a whole nother level. And the best way to do that, if you haven't already, is to download the SeatGeek app, guys. I mean, the SeatGeek app not only gives you the best prices, but it also is the easiest way to get yourself some tickets. Head over to the SeatGeek app, download it on your phone. Make sure you head over to the settings tab and enter the promo code Causeway to get yourself a $20 rebate off your first purchase. So on top of those savings, you can save yourself $20 by downloading this app and getting yourself the best deals around when it comes to buying Boston Celtics tickets.
$20, dude?
$20 rebate. All you have to do is download the app, go to the settings tab, enter the promo code Causeway, and get yourself that discount. And trust me, it'll be worth it. Win or lose, you'll have yourself a good time at the Garden. Playoff basketball.
Anna, get on that. We need to see you at the Garden.
You know what? She might even be there.
Yeah,
you
man.
could even see Anna there because Anna said that she wouldn't be there for the first round, but she would try to make it after that.
We got to hit her up for the second round.
Yeah, we do. We do. You know what? Anna's been very entertaining to say the least. When she said it with the Denzel Valentine. I was
Is that
going to say Denzel
be it in
Washington.
case you missed it?
No, we can talk about that.
Oh, no, Sean, because you were making a face. So I thought that I spoiled it.
I just laughed at it.
I mean, the Denzel Valentine tweet was hilarious. You guys should check that out if you haven't already on the Causeway Street Twitter.
She retweeted us because he wears number 45 and he chucked up an air ball in garbage time. And I said, Jordan would be very upset.
He did wear that number.
He did.
They should have retired both.
And Anna said,
they should have retired the number 12 that he wore that one game.
Anna said, I know that guy. He sucks. Love it.
And she,
my guess,
she elaborated on that too.
Yeah,
it wasn't just that.
So he came to a party and was all fucked up and probably.
I mean, if you don't want people to go to our Twitter, then okay, go ahead and explain the story.
Let's just insinuate. Denzel Valentine probably came over. You come through to a party, you get invited to a party. Like, I don't want to go alone. I got to bring my boy. And he just ruins everything for you. What could have been, Denzel? What could have been?
All right, Joel, what did we miss? Let's get into it.
In case you missed it.
Celtics, obviously, advances to the second round of playoffs for the first time since 2012.
Bow, bow, bow.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This will be the fourth time in playoff history that the Celtics will be facing the Bullets. The Wizards.
What are you, fucking 70?
Who are you, Gilbert Arenas?
I'm sorry, Charles always calls them the Bullets, so I'm going to go with Charles.
Oh, yeah. Joel is
there you go.
Charles Barkley's spirit.
On this podcast, pretty much.
Spirit, what is it, spirit brother?
Nah, he's just my idol. One of my idols.
That was Joel's favorite player growing up, believe it or not.
Yeah. So the first time that the Bullets/Wizards played the Celtics was in the 1975 Eastern Conference Finals. Washington won 4-2. 1982, the Celtics won in the Eastern semis 4-1.
Sounds familiar.
And in 84, Celtics won the first round 3-1, baby.
I think it's funny that the Celtics were able to avoid the Wizards all of the 2000s because, early, Caron Butler.
Yeah, 2008.
Gilbert Arenas.
Michael Jordan.
Do you remember? You guys remember? You guys remember 2008 when they won the season series against the Celtics and they almost faced them instead of the Atlanta Hawks.
That's the only team that beat the Celtics more than once.
Yeah, and they almost faced them instead of the Atlanta Hawks, which is the team that brought them to 7 games. They almost faced the Wizards, and that was a bit of a scare if they were to face them because who knows if they would have beat them or not.
No, they kept running into to LeBron and the Cavs.
Yeah.
And Arenas couldn't beat them.
I mean that team though with it's Caron Butler, Gilbert Arenas, and who was
Larry
the big
Hughes.
dude? No, the big dude. Not
the big dude.
Antoine Jameson.
Jameson,
man, he
that
was a beast, dude, on those teams.
No, he was.
I thought he was going to give the Cavaliers the push they needed to get to the NBA Finals in 2010.
So much so that the analysts said that in a battle between him and Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
Well, there's no question that Antoine Jameson was a better player. See how that worked out, right?
Yeah, Antoine Jameson from North Carolina. Love those teams.
Traded for Vince Carter.
Yep.
1998.
What else we missed?
In case you missed it, after Game 5, as if Hoiberg and the Bulls didn't need more salt in the wound, especially after Sway's infamous question. That was a bad question, by the way. Apparently,
awful question.
There was no running hot water for the Chicago locker room at the Garden. Maybe the ghost of Red Auerbach was in the building, guys.
Or
he was laughing at these guys, probably.
You know what I think it is? I think it's more of a players on the opposite team know these rumors and they just say it now. It's sort of like the whole Mike Tomlin saying that Bill Belichick infested their headsets with the radio broadcast. Like, did that actually happen? Or was that just Mike Tomlin just saying, I can't beat Bill Belichick?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was brought up on NBA TV, and Isaiah Thomas, old school Isaiah Thomas, was like, quote, "They're still doing that up there in Boston?" End quote.
Did he say something?
He was about that life. He remembers that.
He remembers that. Cold showers. I think for the Wizards, especially in the first 2 games of this series, there's going to be plenty of cold showers.
They better get ready for those golden showers, if you know what I mean.
Oh, damn. You want to go there, but
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
In case you missed it, Dwayne Wade, who has a $23.8 million option for next season, says he's going to weigh out his summer options before he decides if he's going to come back to the Bulls
There's no
next season.
There's no way he comes back if they blow it up.
Mr. Dwayne Wade turns 36 next season.
My guess is that he will forfeit the money. I mean, he made $23 million last year.
I think he made more last year, but yeah.
Oh, $27 million last year. It was a $50 million contract.
Was it? Or was it like 48? Well, anyway.
50.
Okay.
So my guess is that he will join LeBron.
Really?
He'll be a Cavs next year.
Even if Brown wins it this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Brown ain't win it this year.
He won't even make it that far, right?
Mm-hmm. Not getting to the finals. What I tell you, you can't make it 7 consecutive.
I mean, out of all years, this should be the year that you can knock him out. In case you missed it, Larry Bird has stepped down as the president of the Indiana Pacers after 14 seasons where he drafted the likes of Danny Granger in 2005.
Yeah, what could have been with Danny Granger, man?
Paul George in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and guess what? He drafted Kawhi Leonard in 2011 before he decided to trade him and his draft rights to the San Antonio Spurs for George Hill. This coming a couple of days after the Pacers got swept by the Cleveland LeBrons for zip.
That sweep, though, you can't. I don't think you should justify it as a sweep. The Pacers were in pretty much every single game.
But I mean, when you're up by 26, you're supposed to win that game.
They still lost.
I know what I'm saying.
But they were in every game. I don't know. I think the Pacers just, obviously caught a bad matchup. I think if you were looking at a Pacers Celtics series, it'd be different. If you were looking at a Pacers Raptors series, it'd be different. They just caught the Cavs. That sucks.
I mean, the roster that they had, they should have been in the top half of the Eastern Conference.
They should have been playing the Pacers.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Think about that one.
Okay. Larry Bird is the only person in NBA history to be named league MVP as a player, obviously, coach of the year, and executive of the year. So, good luck to Larry Legend. I'm looking forward to that 30 for 30 on the Celtics and Lakers in June. In case you missed it, this guy, man, Glenn Big Baby Davis, back in the NBA headlines.
Again?
Talking to Fox Sports once again about the likes of Doc Rivers, CP3, talking about that it's time to blow it up and that CP3 is not on LeBron James' level. Talking about that. He called it that, CP3 is all about himself. I got a little clip.
Y'all didn't want to believe me when I told y'all about the Doc episode and what's going on over there.
What's going on over there?
We can see it.
What can you see?
We can see a dysfunctional team.
And you're blaming Chris Paul.
Not Chris Paul all the way. The reason why I say that is because he is the leader. And the owner, the president, the coach,
the point guard,
and the player, the point guard.
Right.
And your job as the point guard is to get everybody to love each other. It's not working. We know that from the jump, that Blake and Chris don't like each other.
What about DeAndre Jordan? You know him.
He's not happy. You talk about the stuff when you wanted him to come back. Oh, we want you to come back, DeAndre. We're going to give you the ball. But the man has, 6 shots, 8 shots? $21 million? You gotta get DeAndre involved, engaged. I leave that up to Chris and the coach, and it's not working. Time to blow that thing up.
So he was just shitting all over Mr. State Farm. He also gave props to Rajon Rondo and what he was able to do in the first 2 games against the Celtics, and that if he had to choose playing with Rajon Rondo or CP3, he'd choose Rajon Rondo. Check out the clip.
He made it easy for me because of his skill level and then the way he policed.
You're smart. He's a very bright guy, but bright people can be. The word on him is, you tell me you don't like Chris Paul, who's difficult. Well, Rondo's difficult. You like him.
Yeah, but at the same time, he rubs his players the right way. I love playing for Rondo because guess what? If I miss that shot, shoot it again, big fella. He gave me so much confidence, and that made me want to go over and beyond for him. And that's the difference between Rondo and CP.
CP doesn't say that.
No.
What's he say?
He dribble, wait for the pass. Okay, we go pass. Now shoot it. You know what I mean?
So you like playing with Rondo more than Chris Paul?
Oh my gosh. Rondo got me an extra couple of years in the league because he passed me the ball a lot.
I don't know, guys. What do you think? Is it time for Doc to blow it up?
1,000% yes.
Is it time for Doc to leave LA?
That's another question that was asked to Big Baby Davis, and he says, yes, it's time for Doc to go. Personally, I think Doc should just stay as the head coach and let someone else come in and make the personnel changes.
Well, if he did that, they wouldn't have DeAndre Jordan right now.
That's not true because there was everyone else involved, including Paul Pierce, that got him to come back.
I don't know. I think Doc has run his course in LA. I mean, you think about it
as both coach or just coach?
Both. I think Doc just needs a new start. I think Doc needs to go coach the Bucks and take them to the finals.
Nah, man, Jason Kidd ain't leaving anytime soon, bro.
He should be.
I don't think the answer is to get rid of Doc. I just think the biggest problem is that this core has ran his course. I mean, the difference between this core, amongst a lot of differences, but one of the biggest differences between Doc not letting go of this core and what he did in Boston is that he didn't have someone like Danny Ainge to say, I'm letting this core go whether you like it or not. He's the one calling the shots, so he's never going to let it go. Let's face it, if Doc Rivers was in that position that Danny Ainge was in back in 2013, he would have never pulled off that trade. He would have still been trying to get Paul Pierce and Garnett help to keep making runs.
That's like admitting you failed. If
something like that. I just think Doc doesn't know when to quit. And that's just the spirit of competition that he has in him. He even said on record in 2013 that
he knew when to quit when it came to Boston.
No, he quit because they traded his core. He didn't want to go through a rebuild.
That's what I'm saying. He knew when to quit then.
Okay, yeah, true. But when he likes a core, likes a core of guys, which of course he loved with the Clippers, he loves Chris Paul. He's always been a big fan of Chris Paul. He's always been a big fan of what the potential that the Clippers had. And he's never going to succumb to the pressure of trading those guys. In his mind, he's like, if I can get a bunch of, what were they? Over 30 or 31, 32 at the time. If I
just
can
like veteran presence.
Veteran presence. If I can bring a ring between guys like that, why can't I get that from a bunch of 20-something-year-olds? Minus what? Chris Paul. What's Chris Paul now?
He's 30? Up there. I think he's 30.
30, 31? He's the only one. I mean, in his mind, he's like, Blake Griffin's on the 30. JJ's on the 30. They can re-sign him. The rest of the guys, this is a fairly young team. So in his mind, he's thinking to himself, I can get the most out of this guys. I just need to get them help. And that's exactly the same mindset he had back in 2013 when he was trying to find role players to help his aging veterans.
No, I mean, back in 2013, Ainge gave him that choice. Like, look, this is where we're heading. If you're on board, let's go. If not, we'll give you options to go somewhere.
I got Brad Stevens over here. I'm going to talk to him.
I don't think that's how it went. I think it went. Doc probably said, like in 2011, was like, hey, I know this is coming to an end. I want a championship for you. You better let me know when there's going to be a rebuild.
And he signed a 5-year extension after 2010.
Right. That's what I mean, though. He probably said part of that extension was like, as if this comes to a halt and you don't want to rebuild, you better ship me out of town. And that's exactly what I think happened. Weird question. I don't think it's really talked about that much. Mm-hmm. If Doc had stayed, would the Celtics be in the second round of the playoffs right now?
I mean, this is 5 years later, though.
I'm just saying, there's a rebuild, though.
I don't think Doc would have lasted,
Well, it's not 5 years, it's 4 years.
Okay. I don't think Doc would have lasted 4 more years.
That's what I mean. Would this team be here right now? Would he have gotten what Brad has got out in the players?
That's weird because it's you don't know who Ainge would have gotten.
I don't know if he would have because I just feel like most great coaches, they reach a point where they're like, they can't go through a rebuild. They can't go backwards.
Like he did
Popovich,
that.
Phil Jackson. Yep. I mean, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Phil Jackson kind of did it for a couple of years, and then they were right back when they made that Paul Gasol trade. You know, When it comes,
like 1 year.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
even
1
think-
year, right?
I think Phil Jackson.
They had one bad year. When
No,
you think about
Phil
it.
Jackson didn't.
And
Phil
they still made
Jackson
the playoffs.
retire, and then he came
And
back.
then he came back. Yeah, you're right.
Well, they
Yeah,
got
you're
Paul
right.
Gasol,
He
came back.
retired. He retired after they lost to the Pistons, and
Right.
then he came back a year later from that season where the Lakers didn't make the playoffs, and he was like, "All right, let's try this again." And they made the playoffs. They beat the Suns in the first round, got shitted on in the second round, and then like you said, Paul Gasol, Lamar Odom,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera.
Greg Popovich. Guy's been relevant for the last 17 years. I mean, you know, these coaches, I feel like they've reached a certain point where they're done doing that phase of their coaching career.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers did that in Orlando. He did that in Boston for a handful of years before he got Garnett and Ray Allen. He's not going to go backwards. I just think that a lot of these coaches, they've reached that point in their career where they just can't do that. They can't be that motivator to deal with a bunch of 22, 23, 24-year-olds like they used to. They, especially after you get a ring. You don't. I just don't think you go backwards in the NBA if you're a coach.
No, he's proven that he's paid his dues.
Right.
That's what it is, I think.
He's revered as one of the best coaches in the NBA. So I just don't think that it would have panned out the way you expected. The way it has panned out with Brad Stevens, it wouldn't have been the same results, I don't think.
In case you missed it, if you didn't notice, before the end of Game 6 between the Celtics and Bulls, Isaiah Thomas went to the locker room before the game officially ended. He was slated to travel to the state of Washington to bury his sister, China Thomas. I mean, I don't know how he's been doing it this whole series. But
All I gotta say is,
it's inspirational. Really, I got no words.
Yep. I mean, obviously, you send your thoughts and prayers out to Isaiah this time.
The Thomas family.
I mean,
yep.
It's crazy. I mean, how he got through one series without, this type of closure is crazy. But, I mean, it's a miraculous performance by Isaiah Thomas, and it really, I mean, we're not going to know the scope of it until the end of this run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna be able to sit back and I'm sure he isn't either, When you look at it and you say he's going through all of this and still being able to lead the team
to play basketball.
Yes, to get out on the court. That is just nuts. So, yeah, great job. Bringing that up, Joel. I mean, that's something we definitely got to think about. We're looking at Game 1, which is no rest, and all of a sudden now we have to deal with that. So it's crazy.
But the thing about the Celtics, though, throughout the regular season, I feel like they would play better when they had limited rest. Right? It was almost as if when they had like 3 or 4 days off, that's when they typically put up a dud. Obviously, there's no love lost between these two teams, so that alone is going to, I think, play a part in this series. Either way, I can't wait. This is going to be fun.
This, in case you missed it, is brought to you by
CLNS.
The CLNS Radio
When you want the best.
mobile app. You can download that on your Apple device or Android for the best sports coverage, especially in Boston. And you can listen to the Causeway Street podcast on there. And anything related to Boston sports, Bruins, Patriots, and Red Sox, that's the CLNS Radio app. Make sure you also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, all at Causeway Street. And follow the man, the myth, the legend, Josue, on Twitter at JOE_SWAY. My man, you've been... I bet you've had like crazy interactions with like random strangers. Over the last,
it's funny,
like,
man.
48
I got a
hours.
lot of people in my DM just giving me props, and I appreciate the love, guys. If you listen to this podcast, of course, continue to support us over here as we continue to cover the Celtics in this playoff run. I think it's going to be probably the most, or one of the most entertaining series in this entire NBA playoff. So I can't wait to get into it. I can't wait to see the different angles and how it all plays out. And continue to follow us so we continue to give you the best coverage that we can over here at Causeway.
And we have the best Celtics playoff coverage on our homepage, causewaystreetblog.com. We got quotes for post-game and also pregame. Also, check out Sway on the CLNS Radio Celtics pregame show, where he talks to different writers.
You talk to Vinny?
It's funny you mentioned that. I actually emailed him before the series started, but
Gonna get
he
back
probably
to him.
he probably doesn't even know I'm the same person that emailed him before all this went down with Hoiberg.
Oh, Vinny. Mr. Dutra, where can they find you on the interwebs?
John Dutra.
That's SEAN.
Say that every time we do this, every time we wrap things up, you're gonna play that.
Not SHAWN. Like I said, it's an honor and
Yeah,
a privilege.
You don't have a Twitter handle. I saw you look down. You're like, wait, do I have it? Okay, no, I don't.
You know what? I do have a Twitter handle, but I'm not ready to disclose it.
You're so weird about that. You're so weird about Twitter. Joel's so weird about Twitter.
I do have
Joel
it.
doesn't want Joel doesn't want anyone sliding into to his DMs.
That must be it. That must be the case, or it might be the trolls. Joel doesn't deal well with trolls.
Well, if you follow us on the Causeway Street Twitter, that is me who responds. So
that is him. That's true.
You know, I welcome negative and positive feedback, and that's it for.
In case you missed it.
Any nose poking or face slapping in this series?
Maybe not in game one.
One can only hope.
Maybe not in game one, but at some point. We'll see.
Someday.
We'll see.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in once again, and we will be talking to you guys very soon in this series. Peace.
All right, bye, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Josue Pavon, Causeway Street blog. Fred, did you see Isaiah carry the ball at all in this game?
No.
I don't believe it. That was Josue. That was Josue that asked that question.
He came out there showboating, making that big statement about Thomas, and you don't think anyone's going to come out there and follow it up? Good on you, Josue.
No, I didn't, okay? He does it all the time, but he didn't do it tonight. Just enough that I wanted to piss and moan about it after game 4. But no, not tonight. Hoiberg, you clown.
The hell with the Bulls. Let's talk about Josue Pavon stealing the show tonight, baby. He's never afraid to ask a question, and he just got right under Hoiberg's skin. And
we had a tweeter complaining that Josue's just trying to make a name for himself with stupid questions. That's a legit question.
Great question.
You made the rant.
You brought it up. That's right. Yeah, you brought it up.
He introduced it,
Hysterical.
and the question was well delivered too.
Good job, Josue. Good job.
Great job.
Josue just, dunked all over him with that questions, and someone had to do it. He gets the gold star tonight. We got to give him a promotion here at the network.
He shut that whole thing down. He shut the whole question and answer period. He shut it right down. Josue, props to him. I'm glad it was him that did that.